I've learned. I've learned when to ask these questions. Always choose co-host.
Yes, please. Okay, it is loading.
It's funny, sometimes when I get in these webinars and I'm so used to all the breakout room stuff, if I don't, then it feels like like someone who wears a watch all the time, but then you don't have it on. It's like, wait a second.
Yeah.
My Zoom feels off.
Well, especially because I'm like in the background.
My Zoom game is subpar. This is not good.
Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the live Coaching to Flourish live.
Yeah, it's live. We're on.
Live.
Hey, welcome. So official start. Welcome to the Coaching to Flourish live Q&A. I am your co-host, John Andrew Williams, together here with Ashley Scott, filling in for Raj, who will be back, I think, next week. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And yeah, Ashley, welcome. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks. I know I'm excited to do this with you. I had so much fun with Raj, and so it's great to be back on the live. And if you're out there, say hello. It's so fun to be on the back end and see coaches say hey and your questions during your live. So we'll try to keep track of those while we're on here today as well. But we do have some questions. We have so many. We have so many questions, but I had to choose just a few. So One of our first questions today is, what exactly is positive psychology? Can we dive a little bit into that?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I am not the best person to answer that question. So let's start with that. But my understanding of it, let's start with my understanding of positive psychology. It's the field of study of human flourishing. So it's using all of the tools, the mindsets that psychologists have used to study maladies, things that are not going well with human beings. It's the study of things that are going well, or the study of what do people do that helps people flourish. And that raises some interesting questions in the sense of the difference between positive psychology and coaching. Because coaching also is a field of study that helps people flourish. It's a practicum, right? And positive psychology is applied psychology in that sense too, more than clinical psychology, from a positive psychologist standpoint. And the other thing that positive psychology does really well is it puts forward these theories that try to make sense of human beings, adaptive responses, behavior, mindsets, all of this, and puts numbers to those things. The difference between coaching, however, is that from a positive psychology standpoint, the expertise in the room still stays with the positive psychologist. With what makes it different from coaching, because in coaching, the expertise in the room is with your client. And that's still my main difference between being a positive psychologist and a coach, is where does the expertise lie? And that has implications for how it's applied, but that's my understanding of positive psychology.
Yeah, that's awesome. It just gets me really excited for our new 2.0 research and curriculum that is coming out right now. And
I've gone to 3 out of the 5 international positive psychology, it might be 4 or 5 international positive psychology conferences. And there might be more than 5. Anyway, I've been to some of them. And when I go there, I very quickly realize I am not a positive psychologist. Even though I'm into it, I like it. I have a good friend who he's originally from Australia, but he lives in Dubai. And his name is Steve Jeffs. And I mean, this guy is next level. I mean, he's talking about all these, studies and variants, and he's putting together experiments that look at what happens when 2 people are co-leading an organization, strengths-based leadership, all this kind of really cool stuff from a very experimental point of view. For me, I realize what I have honed as a coach and why I love coaching is that it allows me to stay curious. I get to be as a coach, I get to be 100% curious 100% of the time, which I love. From a positive psychologist standpoint, they have to make hypotheses and test them and then have positions and defend them. Coaches, we can go there. I mean, we can defend positions about like expertise and powerful questions and, how to use the future self, things like that. But it's different. We're not clinical. We're not looking at, variance degrees and delta, change rates, things like that. But yeah, that's my answer on those things.
Yeah, that's awesome, John. I don't know what to add to that. I just think that was great.
Maybe we'll get Steve on these podcasts.
We have another question come in from a coach about how they can set themselves apart as a coach, which we've dove a little bit into niche, but is there anything to add about how somebody can set themselves apart?
I think there's a misconception when coaches are starting out that they're competing with other coaches. The thing most coaches are really competing against is indifference. And it's doing, like, you're really competing against doing nothing or doing your life without a coach, because coaching is one of those things that's not absolutely necessary. It makes a difference. People who are working with coaches are more productive. You're looking at maybe 20 to 30% more productive if you're working with a coach. Mm-hmm. And so it's not a life or death thing. It's more of a flourish, or, really, it's about like optimize or status quo. And that's really what you're competing against, is the status quo. You're not competing against other coaches. So when you start thinking about, okay, so what's the status quo that you want to change? What is the thing, not just with, individual clients, but in society? What's the status quo that you would like to see different? That's your marketing message. And that's how you stand out, is talking about what you would change, not just for one person, but for multiple people. Mm-hmm. You do that, you start to craft a voice, you start to craft a message, you start to show up authentically, on purpose. So many other decisions fall into place when you have that clarity of what you do for the world. Clients will be attracted to that.
Yeah, I agree. This was a message also in just the real estate world when I worked in it, because you have this office that has like hundreds of realtors, and they're all fighting in this market. But every single one of them, especially when they were being authentically themselves within that market, there were people for them there, that wanted to work with them specifically because of what they offered, even if they are doing something similar as somebody else. But I think that is a huge thing, is understanding your own value as a coach and knowing your worth as a coach, and understanding that why. What are you passionate about, but what also makes you angry in the world? What do you want to see a change in? All of those things, I think, really help somebody show up in a way that it will naturally resonate with a group of people. And I think being in this community of coaches, when you see coaches supporting coaches, it's like I've seen businesses just like really bloom within our community with coaches empowering other coaches and giving referrals and connecting and helping people's businesses succeed. And so, yeah, you really can set yourself apart by being yourself and doing what you feel like you're supposed to be doing. I think anytime you kind of go off base and you're trying to coach something that doesn't feel right with you, people know it and they feel it. And your business is probably not going to thrive in the same way as it would if you were just showing up.
I remember having a realization when I was starting out, and it came quickly when I was working with schools. And I realized I, as a human being, could really only handle around 40 current clients. Like that's it. And you think about how many students are there in the world, how many young people are out there, and we're talking maybe 1 billion, or 3 billion. Like we're talking large numbers of people. Mm-hmm. So if you're thinking, okay, I'm like, if I were starting from zero, from no clients, nothing, I had to get trained, all of that. The mindset is, if I limit the mindset that I see a lot of new coaches adopt is, oh, if I choose something very specific, then I am saying no to a lot of clients. I'm not, I'm no longer available. That's true if you're geographically based. So if you are looking to meet with people only in person, only in certain, only within a certain mile radius, yes, you have to have a slightly larger specialty that makes sense in that space. It's just good business. Mm-hmm. However, if you're meeting people on Zoom, if you're not geographically bounded, then you want to be as specific as possible so that you can go as deep as possible with an understanding of that group, their challenges, the problems that they're facing. All of those things go into that, not so that you can ask, not so that you can be an expert so much in saying, like, here's the, from a positive psychology standpoint, here's the intervention that you need. It's not so much that, but it's, I want to show up as a force for good for these people in the world. Mm-hmm. You need to equip yourself with knowledge in order to be able to do that. And so that's, if the mindset shifts away from, I am doing these things so that I can coach, it goes opposite. It's, I am up to these things. And if I go after that larger thing, then my coaching will support that, and people will be attracted to me as a coach because of that. So it's that shift. It's the expertise for the sake of change, not expertise like for societal change, not expertise for the sake of being able to provide better interventions. Those come along for the ride.
Yeah, that's good.
It's going to get me going, actually. Like, and you see it. You're in that space too. So I'm kind of curious, when you're connecting with graduates, right? This is, you, like, every week, I know there are people on your schedule you're connecting with. What is the thing that you wish, like, if you could hand them here's the perspective gift. Like, what I mean? They open up and there's like this, it wafts over them, and they adopt this perspective. What would you see, or what would that perspective gift be to the people you're connecting with on a regular basis?
Yeah, that's a good question. One of the first things that I kind of already touched on this is just the understanding of their own value. I feel like I've noticed a lot of coaches hold back because they don't understand what they can offer or what they do offer. And I think until we understand our value as a coach, we either try something that isn't us because we're trying to set ourselves apart and fit into something that we believe coaching is supposed to be, or we hold ourselves back from what we actually are meant to do because we are afraid that we're not going to do well, or we are afraid of success with it too. Which is really interesting. What if I do succeed? Can I do it? Am I going to do it well? Or what if I can't succeed? And so I think it starts with, like, just knowing that space that is created as a coach already is something really powerful, because a lot of us don't have that. But also, man, I mean, people need coaches. People need people who are going to be curious about their lives and want to know about them and empower them to find those answers. And there are so many coaches when you can just feel when they've, like, tapped into what they're supposed to be doing with coaching, and they're like, I know I'm supposed to be doing this. And so that would be the biggest thing. It's just like the foundational part, and then build off of that. Like, know your value. Like, if you have a passion to serve people in a certain area, then you should be doing it, and know that you have value first and foremost because of that passion too, and just because you want to serve people. That's a really big deal, to want to care for the world and people in it. And so that would be it. If I could be like, I like to tell people, like, and take it in and, like, change their inner being. It's pretty cool.
Do some aromatherapy with it or something. Did people, like, here's the value Ashley spray. We'll have a line.
Here you go. Here you go, everybody listening.
You open up the materials box and it like, wafts out.
It'll be awesome. And they're like, wait a minute. I have value.
It's a thing. It's a thing is they're isolated. A lot of coaches are working in isolation. You don't walk into an office. You're walking into with other people. You're walking into a solo space, and it's challenging. I mean, I felt really lucky to have a Moist there and to go and it was like it was helpful. I mean, just if something comes up, you have someone to talk to, kind of thing. I feel like that's the other thing. I feel like the community aspect of it is so valuable. You have to find your people. You have to find your supportive people. Yeah. The people who support you in that space. It might not be your partner. It can be, but it might not be. It doesn't have to be. But when you find those people who like your team, like, oh man,
yeah. And I would say that they're, within our community, naturally that happens in our classes, I think a lot, but our coaches want that, and I do think, and I kind of touched on this, there is a difference when you have that support system, what kind of pushes you forward. Maybe it's you getting your own coach as a coach, or it is like tapping in to people walking a similar journey and to be able to just talk about like the excitement of creating your own business and clients, but also like the hard things, and to be able to encourage each other. And that I think is a really big deal. So I love like to circle back just that it's not a competition with other coaches. Yeah, that was really cool.
Mm-hmm. Let's do one more, or maybe two.
Okay. Oh man. Okay. So we could talk a little bit about the national board if we wanted to.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what can you tell us about the new health board certified wellness coach certification?
This is you, Ashley. So I'll preface it that okay. Ashley's been the lead on putting, getting what we do. I know we have a new course, but getting this process through the National Health Board. So yeah, Ashley, take it away.
Yeah, so we're so excited for this opportunity. I'll explain a little bit about what the National Board of Health and Coaching is, but it's for our program specifically. You need to take a wellness program in the 2.0, and then you can take this course. So just to say, if you're on that wellness path and you've been considering that 2.0, this is like a really, really cool opportunity, and I'd encourage you all to check it out. It's nbhwc.org if you want to get more information as well, because I'll kind of scratch the surface, but there's just so much more to all of it and the opportunities that you can have by completing this program. But the National Board for Health and Wellness Coaching, they've collaborated with the National Board of Medical Examiners in 2016. So they originally started in 2012. But 2016 partnered with them, and they have created like a certification exam in order for coaches to be able to be NBHWC credentialed. And what they do is they are looking at our program, and they are making sure that we are covering specific topics that are related to health and wellness. And so you get the coaching aspect within the 1.0 wellness class and the 2.0, and you're going to cover like positive psychology and theories and coaching skills and tools and everything. And then in the health and wellness coaching class, the third class, it's a 16-week class, and this will cover coaching as well. There will be that a lot of times. So if you've taken our program, you know that experience of putting into action the tools and the things that you're learning hands-on in class. But you're also going to be learning specific topics related to chronic disease, like there's so much. I'm having something right here. Let me find, I have some notes on it, but everything related in a deeper way to the health and wellness. And let me pull this up really fast because I wanted to cover a couple of those specific topics so coaches can get an idea.
Yeah, while you're doing that, my take on it is that the National Health Board is another organization that runs parallel to the ICF. So they have developed their own coaching standards that are that I think they don't run contradictory to the ICF. So part of their certification is coaching based. What they add to it is a knowledge basis on health. So you have the empowerment basis of coaching, which is the client is the expert in the room, together with, if you're really coaching someone on health, you need to be able to look at their blood work and be able to see things in their blood work that they might need to do differently. That's the degree of knowledge that the National Health Board wants to see. I think this is an evolution of coaching's certification and the bridge between, let's say, the ICF, which is not, and there's no state regulation, there's no national regulation on it. But the National Health Board, you start to get, the medical, the medical board, or you get them involved, then you can start having state regulation on a much easier basis. So I think this is an evolution of the accreditation world. And it's a pretty rigorous standard. I mean, I've been impressed with them at every point in time. The National Board, I've been very impressed with the communication with them. And I think it has legs. I think it's here to stay. I think there's going to be another one similar type of thing. I think that's going to happen in a decade or two with the academic field. There's going to be a university that says, hey, these are the standards if you want to do academic life coaching. I embrace it. So that's from a larger standpoint what the National Health Board recognizes, or what I think what it means to the coaching field.
Yeah, thank you, John. That's awesome. To give a little bit more specific on some of the things that will be covered, you're looking at like mind and body communication and stress, looking specifically again at like chronic disease, arthritis and inflammation, emotional wellness, blood pressure, prediabetes, diabetes, you're looking at so much more of that detail. You're going to be covering like HIPAA law and regulations and everything there too. So it's really another level of training in the health and wellness field. And then one of the other positives is that you can also use code 3 is what it's considered for insurance purposes. So there is a temporary code right now. That's what a code 3 means in order for health coaches to be able to apply this to insurance. And again, there's so much more information on this, but what this allows and really does is it provides a couple of really big things. And I think it's really monumental in the health coaching industry for us to be able to bring insurance into it. And so it's going to be really giving an increased recognition for health coaches. So I think it really is going to help those that are going into the health coaching field to be able to solidify and verify like their professionalism as a coach. It provides a lot more job opportunities. So there are a lot of organizations as well as even health offices or medical offices that are looking to hire NBHWC certified coaches. And that is all a part of this coding system as well. It's going to provide even more increased services. So what's happening with the insurance and coding system right now is the VA and the medical board is looking at how health coaching and insurance is being used, and it can grow from here. So this just went into effect in 2020, in January 2020. So there's a lot more to even come from that. Yeah, those are like the main things. And so again, this health and wellness class is going to provide an opportunity for coaches to be able to, I think, take their health coaching and wellness coaching to another level, and also provide them with a lot more professional opportunities. And I think be ahead of the game, because since this is new too and just came in 2020, I think there's a lot more to roll out, like you're mentioning, and even more specifically just within the health and wellness field.
This is becoming the standard in the health and wellness field. This is the highest standard that's there from an organization standpoint. Getting the organization through the health and wellness board is about twice as hard as the ICF. And I mean, You've been you've been doing the heavy lifting on that.
Learned a lot. I'm learning so much.
It's been good. I feel like my education in health and wellness has gone up from this too. Looking at it and being involved in curriculum development, looking at the aspects of how do you balance. Let's say you do have knowledge, like medical knowledge. How do you balance that in a coaching session? That's a very important question to answer, because that knowledge basis does make the empowerment basis more challenging. But if you can do it well, you open up whole new possibilities for clients to get a very specific kind of support that empowers them at the same time, gives them useful knowledge. That's the ideal. So yeah. I think this is all moving in a great direction.
Yeah, that's awesome. So get excited, everybody.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good. So I know we have to wrap up soon, but I can't help but ask this question, thinking of, I mean, we have you here, Ashley, and you're talking about value and knowing your own value, and your what you bring to Coach Training EDU. I don't know if the participants or people who are watching understand how you're energetic, the way you just love on people naturally, effortlessly, like seemingly effortlessly, it provides an energetic that I think the whole organization benefits from. I'm kind of curious, this might not be a very fair question, but I'm kind of curious, to what degree are you aware of the value that you're bringing to the world and organizations and just being?
Thanks, John. First of all, it's really, really kind. I'm learning it more and more. I think for a long time I kind of fought that of like, no, like there's just always so much more to learn and grow, and I still love that. But I think that in the last couple of years, I've started to really allow myself to believe that more and pay attention when somebody says it, instead of it being like, no, like it's this or that. It's like, okay, thank you. That's great. I'm going to take it and I'm going to like let it settle a little bit and just let that grow. How much do I know that value? I think some days I know it really well and some days I don't. And so I think it's an inner dialogue thing in checking myself of sometimes when I'm not feeling or I'm not accepting it, like what is the story I'm telling myself, or what are the things that maybe I need to let go of, or what kind of is that barrier there. And then also on the other side, remaining humble even too with that, like, because that is, as a two, like that's the highest compliment ever, is like you bring like energy and light to people. And so part of me also has to check myself and make sure like, okay, yes, like I do believe that about myself. And also that there's another piece of it too, of I can show up of myself as myself, and it is, there's a certain point of responsibility that is mine in that. So from there, I can give my energy and what I have to give. And then from there, it's the responsibility of who else is in that presence to do what they want to do with that too. And I think for many years, my younger self tried to like control that of like, you're going to have the best time you're around me. But now it's like, okay, here it is. And then take it and use it however you need to and what you want to do. And so I'm going on in a circle there, but yeah, I think I own it more now than I think I ever have, but also with the goggles on or whatever it might be of like, but there's still so much to learn and grow in it. And it is like one of my greatest honors to be able to serve people and love on people. And yeah, I don't know, John, does that answer it?
Yeah, I mean, it's not, I recognize it's not necessarily fair. I mean, it's not necessarily the fairest question in the sense, but it's looking at me, because it's kind of like odd, like to what degree are you aware you're awesome is basically the question. Looking at it from a awareness standpoint, I think what I love about this work, like what we do, is that the awareness of our strengths is not about, it's not an ego thing.
Right.
It's how can I use my natural personality, my natural, when I think of a personality, I think of a habitual thought, emotion sets. Like how would I use myself as, for in the best way for the larger purpose of this mission?
Yes.
And for me, the thing that clicked was understanding and using my energy for the sake of something else, like for the sake of, revolutionize education and bringing kindness and empathy into that space. That was my thing that I needed. And that's what I say all the time. Hearing you talk about value and understanding your value, like, oh, that's Ashley. And you've taken that journey.
Yeah, well, and I think that's the
Here.
like I totally agree with you where I think when we know ourselves and we, for lack of a better word right now, love ourselves or understand our value, it's not really about us. It's always about others, because when we understand our value, we step more into our purpose, and it's just it's so much more clear on how we are to care for people. When we have the fogginess of insecurity or not understanding our value, whatever that might mean, it prohibits us from living how we were designed to live, I think. And so, yeah, I think that's one of the really cool things is if you are someone listening today is like, oh, I don't know about myself or this or that, or it's selfish or whatever. It's not. Understanding your value is actually going to allow you to create a bigger ripple effect on this planet in the time that you have here than not knowing your value or not seeing your worth. And so, yeah, step into it. It's okay. It's good. Know yourself and be proud of that.
I think this is hard for people based on the way that we're educated in some degree. Like I wonder like where, because it's something I feel like a lot of people, myself included, wrestle with is, okay, so how can I provide value here? Or how can I show up in a certain way? And I think that people, I know I do sometimes too, will make things harder on myself so I get more stressed out so I can prove that I'm working hard.
Yeah.
Other than, there's more of this like, oh, like if it's effortful, like, yeah, there's a certain degree of that. And this is where I feel like working with a coach and just being in this coaching soup, it helps so much to have the lens and mirror of other people who can see you. Because sometimes it's very hard to see yourself.
Oh yeah. Sometimes the mirror we hold up is not a true reflection of ourselves.
It's rough.
A little distorted. And there are some people that don't hold up a true reflection either. It's finding the people, like you're talking about, those team of people or that community where you can like bring yourself fully, especially on this coaching journey and creating a business. Like you learn so much about yourself and when you're on this journey, and to have people that will hold up the correct mirror for you and the truest version of you on the journey is going to help you in return, like know your value more. And then in return, provide more value to them and hold up a mirror for them that is accurate to them. It's, it all connects. Yeah, that's cool, John.
We have to finish. I know.
Yes.
We're reaching the end point of our journey here. But yeah, thank you everyone for listening, for being a part of this community and being involved in coaching. And this is a world movement, and the world needs more kindness and empathy. So thank you for showing up. Thank you for being here. This has been another Coaching to Flourish Q&A.
Awesome. Thanks everybody. Bye.